Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Very good. I'm excited. I've got a guest on the program today named Veronica Entwistle, and she's got a book that I like the title. It's called My Near Life Experience. You've heard of people have near-death experiences?
Yeah.
She had a near-life experience, and I'm excited to chat with her.
I don't know exactly what that means.
Well, we're going to find out. Hey, you have to wonder about the reason for this study. In a university in Australia, new moms were asked to sniff unlabeled soiled diapers.
Ew.
And it was found that they preferred the smell of their own baby's diaper mess.
Ew.
So if you had 3 poopy diapers and one of those was your child's diaper, you tended to like the smell of that one the best.
That's disgusting.
I'm not sure why they needed to do this. There you go. Hey, for those of you who are trying to eat something right now, sorry about that. Maybe I should have warned you ahead of time. Coming up, we got some special things happening today. We'll tell you what those are in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It's Thursday, January the 14th. Today is Ratification Day. It's also Caesarean Section Day. It's International Kite Day, Dress Up Your Pet Day, and Organize Your Home Day. Of all of those, which one do you think I would be celebrating?
Dress Up Your Pet Day.
No, Kite Day. I love kites.
I have a video of you.
I know you do. I have to share that on our Facebook page.
It's one of my favorite videos.
I had a kite in the backyard of our backyard. She was upstairs looking out the window, and it wasn't particularly windy.
It was so funny.
Just a little bit of wind, and I was like,
you got to run with a kite. You don't just stand there and expect it to just take off.
I was like, I wonder if I can get this thing to go. And I'm throwing it up in the air, and it just keeps falling on the ground. She's laughing at me as she's recording it out the window. My favorite is when I finally realize that you're there, when you knock on the window, and I'm like, ooh. And I walk away. Whoops. Anyway, today is International Kite Day. Get out and celebrate. Thanks for listening on a Thursday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVWheelator.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVWheelator.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. A bird lover ended up taking a flight of his own, straight down. Phil Harrison of West Yorks, England, climbed a mill chimney to rescue a hawk that escaped from a friend's aviary. But after grabbing it, he slipped and fell 30 feet.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's a long ways. Miraculously, his life was saved when he landed in, what do you think he landed in?
I have no clue.
6 inches of pigeon poo.
Ew, that is just disgusting.
Second time I maybe should have warned you ahead of time. He didn't even let go of the hawk, didn't break his neck, or he did break his neck. He had to be hospitalized. He expects to make a full recovery, and thanks to the little pigeon droppings there, he was A-OK. The bird was fine. He broke his neck. 30-foot fall. Didn't Humpty Dumpty make a great fall like that, too?
Not off of 30 feet.
How far was Humpty Dumpty?
It was just on a wall.
Could have been a 30-foot wall.
I don't think it was not in the pictures I saw. It was a tiny wall.
Like a 4-foot
it's like
wall.
a retaining wall.
It's like, Humpty Dumpty's kind of a wimp. Well, Phil Harrison of West Yorks, England, maybe they'll start singing songs about him. What rhymes with pigeon poo? I don't know. Anyway, you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. Calling the cops after a robbery lands the victim in jail. We've read more stories like this. 23-year-old woman reported being robbed by 3 men who came into her South Wichita home. She was a brave gal and apparently put up quite the fight. As she was treated for a cut to her head at a local hospital, Wichita police said the woman told them 3 men came into her home shortly after 1 a.m., hit her in the head, and took cash, stereo equipment, credit cards, and a cell phone. The thieves did not make off with everything of value, though. They overlooked her drug collection.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, but it was not overlooked by the police, who said, hey, now that you're all better, you're going to come with us.
Oh, people, come on.
So these people came in. They robbed her of all of her valuables. They left her drugs there. So I guess, at least I'm proud of the robbers for not taking that. Because at least, they didn't want to get arrested for drugs, too. So anyway, we've heard several times now of people who call the police because somebody stole something of theirs. And when the police get there, there's drug paraphernalia sitting right out in open. You knew they were coming, right? You called them. Anyway. This is a 23-year-old young lady from Wichita. Coming up, we've got your moment of duh. That's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Thank you so much for listening. We've got your moment of duh right now, and this one comes from Cooperstown, Tennessee. T. Allen Morgan got a speeding ticket there. And the town's known for heavy-handed traffic enforcement. He tried to pay his ticket like a good citizen, but he added a little note on his check, and that made the mayor angry. The mayor refused to accept the check. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation launched an investigation. Mayor Crosby told Morgan that he had to either write another check that don't have the words "for a speed trap" written in bold letters, or they're not going to accept it. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation is investigating if the mayor acted illegally by denying the payment. He responded as saying, as mayor of this city, I will accept a check from the gentleman. That would be admitting that I'm running a speed trap, and that's a lie. By the way, recent AAA officials said the Automobile Association is considering adding Cooperstown to their list of strict enforcement areas. So they apparently, and there's only 7 other cities that have that honor. So they're saying that it was probably a speed trap. Call it what you will. That's what it was. Anyway, we've got your scoop of the day on the way.
The scoop of the day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. The Japanese have invented a bulletproof iPhone. Do we need that? A lot of people having problems with iPhones getting shot.
Well, if it will keep your screen from cracking, that would be awesome.
That would be cool, but it doesn't say that it's crack-proof. It says it's bulletproof. So.
But if it's bulletproof, it would have to keep it from...
You'd hope so. Hey, officials in Florida are testing a new unmanned aerial vehicle to track down and take out mosquitoes. So it's like a...
That's cool.
What do you call those things? A drone and a bug zapper.
I like that. That's cool.
Good.
That's something I would use.
I want one of those. You know all those studies that say you should be drinking 8 glasses of water a day?
Yes.
Turns out they might not be accurate.
I don't think so. I think it's accurate.
A new study that says water is not as beneficial as everybody's been saying. An article published in the British Medical Journal says there's no evidence that drinking water will improve your health. It also points out drinking water when you're not thirsty can impair your concentration. Health experts have said drinking 8 glasses a day can help you lose weight and prevent kidney damage, but the article's author says maybe not. He thinks that everybody's been exaggerating about that. And he thinks that the people that are exaggerating are people who could profit from it.
That are what?
Those He says that they're people trying to sell you water, like filtration systems and bottled water and that stuff. So
I, for one, feel better when I drink more water.
I do, too.
And it does help me lose weight.
Well, it says that if I'm drinking and when I'm not thirsty, I lack concentration. I lack concentration all the time. So. Hey, Crystal Lake, Minnesota, 42-year-old Douglas Lee Manet was captured by police. This was a high-speed chase that wasn't too high speed. 25 miles an hour is how fast he was going. It's because he was cruising around on a little mini motorcycle. He got pulled over on a 5-horsepower mini motorcycle. The police asked him to park in a parking lot, which he did. Then he took off and zipped out the other side, going on the slow-speed chase. 10 miles per hour was the average speed. And an officer pulled up alongside him, fired his taser from the car window.
Oh, my gosh.
The effort hindered Doug enough for the officer to get out of his car and push him off the bike. It took the help of another deputy to actually make the arrest. So it sounds like they had quite the time, and I hope they have some good video camera footage of that.
Wow.
That sounds like it would be hilarious to watch. We were watching a video. This is from a couple years ago. There was a video of a guy that was driving a scissor lift down the highway while sitting on a case of beer. It was quite funny. I was
That
watching
video
it.
was hilarious.
I posted it the other day when Heidi and I were watching. I posted it on our Facebook page, and I said, Heidi wants to get a scissor lift now. But it was funny. Hey, police in Sydney, Australia, they're looking to track down their prized police dog, Jed. Jed broke out of his police yard home on New Year's Eve when he was frightened by the New Year's Eve fireworks there in Sydney. Ironically, this dog has been trained to detect explosives.
To detect them so they don't go off.
Yeah, he's detecting fireworks and he's freaking out.
Oh, poor
so
little
explaining
guy.
why a dog trained to sniff out bombs would get scared from the fireworks. Police spokesperson says they're trained to find explosives, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to like the sounds.
That's exactly
of
right.
explosives. So there you go. We got all that going for you. And one quick story here. I got to scroll down for this one. A report sharing good news about marriage by debunking some myths about divorce. There's a recent report that offers opinions that divorce rates are not as high as previously thought. Because you're always hearing about, 1 out of 2 couples are getting divorced. Well, there's a lot of people now that are actually digging into those reports and are going, that's not true. So there's a lot of myths out there about marriage and divorce. So when you say, hey, I'm getting married, and they go, well, why would you do that? Half marriages end in divorce. No, that's not accurate. So people are just re-quoting something that's been quoted for years that may not actually be true. You ready for a strange law?
I am ready.
At one time, Louisiana lawmakers must have thought that all women were potentially bad drivers. They passed a law making it mandatory for a husband to wave a flag in front of the car being driven by his wife.
Jeez.
So I'd have to walk in front of you waving a flag.
Watch out.
Driving.
She's driving.
I do have to do that when you're trying to parallel park.
I don't parallel park, so that's a lot.
But if you tried, I would have to do that. That has been your strange law. This has been your scoop of the day.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. I've got a special guest on the line right now, Veronica Entwistle, and she is a life coach and an energy wellness expert, and she's also the author of a new book, My Near Life Experiences, and we were going to talk about 4 proven ways to transform yourself into a younger and improved you in 2016. Veronica, how are you today?
Oh, I'm really glad to talk to you, John. I'm having a lot of fun with all this stuff. And, you said something before we started that leads right into what I want to talk about, which is don't ever say I'm too old for that or I'm getting old and that's why it happens. Because, a lot of us, we were talking to the audience in general, we were talking about how easy it is to drop bits these days.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so much change. And what I read somewhere is that in every moment we handle 10,000 times as much information. And even kids are forgetting stuff because our brains have to adapt to that. So when we're talking about aging, for example, we blame a lot of these things on aging. But if you look at our society, this is a society of rapid change.
Yeah.
So this takes me right into this other thing. Then we kind of have to drop the past. We have to go, oh, wow, this is new, and we're dropping bits because there's so much new, and it's not about being older, really. I mean, it can be, but that's not all it is,
And that's I see your first step here in the 4 proven ways to transform yourself. It says right here, step 1, stop saying I'm too old for that. So we already covered that one, and apparently I say that too much because I think I am saying that more and more lately, but I'll quit saying it.
Well, I tease you a little bit, John, and the people at home because I want to say, I've become 40, so I am older, but that really influences how we age.
It is. Now, step number 2 says it's never too late. So what does it mean it's never too late?
Okay, I'm 72, and I'm striking out because I have a dream about some things I want to accomplish. People say, you're too old, but there's a whole segment of society that's living a lot longer, and they're saying, wow, we can reinvent ourselves in our 60s, in our 70s, in our 80s. And sometimes, once again, when you really feel that and know that, it has a huge impact on your wellness and on your courage and on your zest for going forward,
Definitely does. And I like that because it is never too late. It's only too late if you give up, if you quit, if you say, well, I'm not going to do it. Well, then, yeah, I guess it is too late. But then you made that decision to make it too late, didn't you?
Yeah, well, it might be too late for me to have babies, you know what I mean?
Well, you never know. Science these days, they can do all kinds of things. Step number 3, I see it says, feel the fear and do it anyway. Tell me about that.
Okay, so one of the greatest fears we have is of insecurity, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things, and I've met a lot of people a lot older than I am that are much braver than I am, right? But the initial thing that stops us, and you want to go back into security of like, I want to make myself safe, or my goodness, there's a mortgage swindle and we're not safe anymore. The people's health collapses, they age faster. See what I mean?
Yeah.
We're better to go, oh gosh, I'm terrified, and really feel it. And feel it. This is one of the things I love to work with people. Feel that fear pulse through your body. Notice where it is in your body. See how it really impedes your dreams and going forward. Just feel it, exaggerate it, and then command total release of it. Over and over. Don't deny any feelings. And it will let you flap your wings again to keep going,
Very good. And again, visiting today with Veronica Entwistle, we're going to be talking here about, or we've been talking and are going to continue talking about 4 proven ways to transform yourself into a younger and improved you for 2016. And we're up to step number 4. It says, learn to love yourself. That's a really important thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how good you are at it, but I've had to learn it the hard way, because you can only delegate some things in life, but that's not when you can delegate it.
No, I agree. And we all know ourselves the best. We know the little quirks, the little things, so it is really easy to be kind of hard on yourself, but you do have to love yourself.
Yeah, and the thing is, we go back to feel the fear and do it anyway, but if you sort of cling to security and that security fades or drops apart, you could be beating yourself up. And beating yourself up could be a product of stuff you were taught in grade school by crazy parents or whatever has happened in your life, right?
Yeah.
It isn't necessarily an appropriate response for today, because Disney and Einstein and all of these people failed and failed and failed in order to get where they were going, right?
Exactly. But they didn't let the failures stop them. They learned from the failures and they got up and moved on.
If we look at ourselves as beings of trial and error, we would have more fun. And what I want to say before our time is up is that in my work, especially about aging people, but not just aging, young people, middle-aged people, whatever is in between that and aging, when people face those fears and face their past reflections and give themselves respite or freedom from that and learn to love themselves, they can release huge amounts of illness, of body pain, of inflexibility. I've seen it over and over and over again. You can call it healing, but really it is releasing our body from being a huge library of leftover goo,
Yeah.
And you can release it by feeling the feeling, pulling it out with your mind as a sculpting tool, and handing it over to God or peanut butter, whoever you pray to, and allow yourself to kind of roto-root the emotional residue that sticks in your body. And I really love working that way because people just get lifted, and they get freer. As you get older, you may not always be very, very flexible unless you're doing yoga or something. But inside, in your mind and in your heart, you can become flexible and you can glean the wisdom and the honoring through all these amazing experiences that they've had by the time they're 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, right?
That's right.
And those are the ones that have the bright eyes and the radiance that really makes other people feel stronger about their lives.
Yeah.
They have to honor the aging process as goals in a way. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Again, visiting today with Veronica Entwistle, and you had mentioned earlier that you're 72, and it's really interesting to me that this book that you've put out, My Near Life Experience, is your first book. So you're right, it's never too late. Many people would say, wow, 72, that's too late to put out a book. Not at all. Veronica did it, so it can be done. But let's talk about the title, My Near Life Experience. Why do we call the book that?
Okay, so all the stuff we've been talking about, for example, if you record within your being that you're not a good person because somebody told you that when you were 6 and so on, and you learn to pull that up and out, and pull it up and out and see it as just a belief like we're a computer and it's a program, then you get access to an aspect of your life and your own natural innate power that can lead you all kinds of places. So as I went through many, many chapters in my life, I found myself, it's always right beside me. Who I really am is always right beside me. You know, I've had to use a little machete to cut my way through some of my reactions. That's why the other part of the book is titled, or the other title of the book is, How Do I Know When I'm Really Me?
Nice.
The book recounts so many of my life experiences, but the goal is always to get to a place where I really am true to the real me, not the socially fabricated me, if that makes sense.
It definitely does. Veronica, where can we find a copy of the book, My Near Life Experience?
You can find it on Amazon, and you can also find it on my website, veronicaentwistle.com.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. I appreciate that a lot. It was really fun to chat with you. Again, if you hadn't told me that you were 72, I would have never in a million years guessed that, because you have so much energy and you're just a vibrant person to talk to. I think that's a testament to what we just spoke about.
Thank you so much. And you know what? This is a great show. Thank you, John and Heidi.
Well, thank you for chatting with us, and we really appreciate you taking the time to visit. Again, the book is called My Near Life Experience. The author that we've been speaking with is Veronica Entwistle. In addition to being an author, she's a life coach and an energy wellness expert and a very gifted intuitive counselor. So if you're interested in learning more, again, veronicaentwistle.com is her website, and the book is available at your favorite local bookstore or available at amazon.com. Thank you for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by carsforsale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at carsforsale.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
With new research, it's been found that the average lifetime of a person will spend 2 weeks kissing, but an average of 9 years watching television. Maybe that's not such a good thing.
Wow.
So 9 years watching TV in your lifetime, but only 2 weeks kissing? We need more kissing in our household and less TV. Do you agree?
Sure thing.
All right. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Italian researchers say coffee appears to protect against an eyelid spasm that could lead to a certain type of blindness.
Does your eyelid ever do that?
Oh, yeah.
Mine does too. Every once in a while, I'll just start
twitch.
twitching.
You know what the problem is? Usually it's when I need some coffee. So that's kind of funny that they happen to bring that up. Hey, fun fact for you,
What's
Heidi.
that, John?
According to a poll by Progressive Insurance, 63% of people talk to their cars. Do you talk to your car?
I do not.
Yes, you do.
I talk to my car?
Oh, yeah. I can't say on the radio what you say to it.
I don't know. I talk to other drivers. I don't talk to my car.
All right, that's some fun facts for you. Coming up, we've got some good excuses, maybe? I don't know. Something on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. I thought we were going to be talking about excuses, but I read this wrong. Instead, kind of makes a point of the story. Do you think your husband really listens when you're speaking, or does he just look like he's listening, Heidi?
I don't think you quit talking long enough for me to have anything to say.
What was that?
For you to listen to.
She is my wife, so I would be her husband. Well, research has proven that when women listen to other women speak, they use an average of 6 expressions within 10 seconds to reflect and feedback the feelings of the person talking to them, basically mirroring the emotions being expressed by what they're saying. So if they're saying something sad, you look, oh, sad. If they're saying something happy, you're smiling. On the other hand, men remain impassive while listening, so as not to betray emotions. And that typically answers why women will frequently accuse a man of not listening. But they're saying, even if he is listening, he may be listening, he's just not
mimicking your emotions.
Now, when you tell me stories, if it's something happy, I'll smile, usually because you're laughing the whole time through that story. And if you're telling me something sad, I'll look sad, usually because it's something very sad. But, I think I mirror what you're saying. Maybe I just listen better than other guys.
I don't know. I feel like you don't listen a lot of times because
when am I not listening?
all the time. Like you'll say something, I'll be like, I told you about that last week. You're like, no, you didn't.
Well,
I'm like,
that's
oh
me.
my gosh, yes, I did.
Just because I'm listening doesn't mean I'm going to hear it.
And you're like, why didn't you tell me I had to do that? I did.
Oh, we've done that before. Like, we've had plans, and I'm like, where are we going? She's like, we've been talking about this for a week. I'm like, we have? You're going to wear that? I'm like, I don't even know where we're going. So apparently I should have read this story before.
Yeah, I don't think this...
All right. Well, coming up, we're going to talk about a dummy that they're using to catch speeders. It's coming up here in a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Cincinnati police are using a dummy to catch speeders, Heidi.
Okay.
They're placing a mannequin dressed in a police uniform in cars along the highway. Traffic accidents have already come down, so have speeding violations. You see, by the time the driver realizes that these dummies are not dummies, or that they are dummies, that's when they have already slowed down. But for those drivers that think that they've learned the routine and decide to buzz by the dummies, well, guess what?
They mix it up once in a while, don't
You can
they?
get nabbed anyway because the dummy has an automatically activated radar system to nail offenders. So
I thought maybe they'd mix it up once in a
they
while.
do
They'd
that
put
too,
a
I'm
real
sure.
cop in there.
They keep commuters on their toes. Officers plan to keep drivers guessing by occasionally swapping the dummies for live officers as well. So
I wasn't paying attention yesterday. I almost passed a trooper.
It was funny. We're driving down the highway, and Heidi was. This is so rare. Why were you driving?
I don't know.
Oh, you went and got the car. and
Yeah,
pulled it
you
up.
told me to pull up too.
Yeah, I was busy, and she's like, let's go. I said, just pull the car up, and I'll jump in. So anyway, she's driving. We're clipping along, and you don't usually speed. It was because I was the one in a hurry. I was like, hey, you guys, I'm going to be late. I got to go.
Yeah.
So she puts her foot in it, and she almost passed a police officer. I'm like,
I
Heidi,
did.
Hey,
He's like,
that's a
"There's a
policeman.
cop."
What are you doing?
Yeah.
She's like, well, I can speed up now. I'm
I
like, yeah,
typically
in like
don't.
a mile you can speed up. You can't
I
speed
really
up here.
don't speed, and
You don't.
he gets so impatient because I'm always going the speed limit. But yesterday,
was pretty
the
funny.
one time I'm speeding, I almost
Well,
passed a cop.
And I don't know if you were speeding, but you were about to. Anyway, coming up, we got a pet problem that made the news. We'll tell you all about it in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. A man in California used to have two pets. He had a pit bull terrier and a Burmese python. Now he has one. Can you guess why?
Why?
Well, he had a pit bull terrier puppy that was incredibly cute and lovable. And then he also had a Burmese python. The man used to have two pets. Now he has one, a 200-pound python
it ate his...
with a pit bull-sized bulge in his tummy.
Oh, no.
The man called police immediately when he found out the snake had gotten loose and finally found it under his house. Then he realized that his 30-pound pit bull was missing.
Oh.
That mystery was solved.
Wow.
It took 3 hours for the owner and a friend to corral the snake as police stood by for safety reasons. Officials are now investigating whether the python should be considered a wild animal and in violation of the city code. So, yeah, he... lost his puppy to his ginormous snake. My
I
brother
don't know
used to
why
have
you
a
would
giant
want to
snake.
have a snake
Remember when
for
Joe
a
had
pet
one?
anyway.
I never understood that. I was like, why do you have that thing? He's
Right.
like, oh, it's cool. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it is.
Put a collar on him and take him for a walk? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. That happened in California. Coming up, we've got something else. I'm looking to see. We're going to talk about a website that found a solution potentially for homelessness. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
This story almost made it as our good news story, but I found a story that actually I thought was better news. So this is still good news.
All right.
The website Vox found evidence that providing houses for homeless people is actually cheaper than simply leaving them on the street. Now, when you first hear that, that just sounds bizarre, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you a little more. According to a report in Relevant magazine, their findings are centered on the amount that local jurisdictions spend on law enforcement and medical issues related to homelessness compared to how much it actually would just cost to provide them with some housing. They found that in some cases, it's more than 3 times cheaper to actually give them a place to live. So that's not something that, homelessness, I don't know, maybe we have that here. I it's not something that I think of as much. I think of that more as like a New York or Los Angeles kind of thing. But it's just an interesting story altogether when you read this. They're saying that it's actually 3 times more affordable to just provide housing than it is to pay for all of the homeless issues. So I'm not saying that they should provide housing. I'm just saying that study is kind of an eye-opener because I never realized how much it costs society to have homelessness. So you're awfully tight-lipped over there.
I have my own opinions, and I should probably just keep them to myself.
Oh, okay. Well then. It's so awesome to see you practice restraint.
Yeah, it's my New Year's resolution.
I've not seen that before. So, well, coming up, we've got some good news, because apparently this was not. We do have some good news to share. That is on the way. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
I always try to wrap this program up with some good news, and I have some good news. First of all, we talked about this earlier in the program. We talked about a scenario where during your entire lifetime, I'll scroll up so I can read it to you.
Watch 9 hours of television.
Yeah, 9 hours of TV,
Right.
9 years of TV
Or
in
9
your
years,
lifetime,
yeah,
but only
sorry.
2 weeks of smooching with your sweetie.
Right.
So smooch a little more because, listen to this good news. Did you know that making out with your spouse is not only fun, it's good for you? Yeah. According to a website, Family Minute, physicians from WebMD report that kissing gives you great medical benefits. It includes things like reducing blood pressure, boosting your immune system, increasing your cardiovascular health, so that's good for the old ticker as well. Kissing also has emotional benefits. It lowers your stress and increases your happiness. Thirdly, as if we needed any more, the report says kissing has relational benefits too. It helps with bonding and increasing acceptance. So what do you think about all that?
I think that's very cool.
We actually had it was funny because our kids on Sunday, I still think this is funny. On Sunday after church, I said, hey guys, when you, tonight, do you guys have plans? Let's go to a movie. Let's go do something fun. We got a gift card that we can go out for dinner. Let's just spend a fun evening together.
Right.
And Heidi said, we got to take down the Christmas tree yet. So I was like, well, go home. We'll take down the Christmas tree and then we'll do that. Well, our daughter is a new driver. She wanted to drive, so my son and my daughter decided they're going to split. They were gone for like 4 hours.
It was longer than
Was
that.
it?
Yeah.
All I know is it's dark out. I'm like, I'm hungry. I'm going to just make a pot pie. I'm saying, guess we're not going out. So, but while we were home, you and I did a little making out, and that was kind of fun. It was fun. I'm not ashamed of that.
That's
We're married.
probably a little too
Hey.
much information.
We're married. We can do that kind of thing. So I just thought it was kind of cool. So now I can tell you that
John.
we should do that all the time because Heidi, I've got a report here that says it's good for us, too. All right. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Maybe we'll get a little makeout going now. Probably not. She looks like she wants to hit me right now. Thank you so much for joining us on the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And it's time now for the bonus break brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio. And if you go over there, you can watch a fun video that explains it way better than I can explain it. So again, dollarshaveclub.com/radio. If you're thinking about popping the big question, you might want to read this guy's blog on public proposals first. Family Matters blog has Tim suggesting you might want to think twice before you make your marriage proposal a public spectacle. In his blog, he points out several issues that a public proposal creates. Pause for a moment. When I proposed, it was not a public proposal.
No, and I wouldn't have liked that.
I was going to say...
That's not my personality. I would not have liked that at all.
I didn't think you would. Now, back to this. He says he's never seen anyone else speak out about this, so he thought, you know what, it's an important issue. I want to at least give you something to consider, guys. Before you make your proposal complex with a flash mob, or you want to ask the love of your life to marry you by putting it on the Jumbotron, you might want to at least read his thoughts to see if you agree or disagree with him. I'm going to post this on our Facebook page because we could spend our entire bonus break talking about it. But it is definitely worth looking into. If you're thinking about, doing the whole proposal thing in public, just make sure you think about it, because there are times that people say yes when they would have said no, and then it
Just
turns
because
into
they're in
but they're like,
public.
well, I can't say no now.
Right.
Do you really want to ask a question that they have to say yes to for the wrong reason? So anyway, if you're planning on that, check out that little blog. It's kind of cool. Some people just don't know how to take no for an answer, Heidi. Vancouver, Washington courtroom, John Flora was defending himself against charges that he stalked a woman for years, claiming he was innocent. He destroyed his case when the alleged victim walked into the courtroom. At that moment, he leaped up and thrust a $5,000 ring at her and asked her to marry him.
Oh, my gosh.
He was chained to a chair for the rest of the trial. You've been stalking her. No, I have not. She walks in. Will you marry me? Here's your ring. I'm so excited.
Oh, wow.
He should have read that blog we just talked about. All right. I'm going to read because I got so much stuff here. Let me look and see if there's... I'm going to just do this because I think this actually is... These are pretty good. Some office illnesses. These are things that are going around this time of year, Heidi.
Okay.
So if you're, looking for an excuse...
Is this another stupid list?
Yeah, it's a list.
Oh, my God.
The Macy's one-day flu sale.
This is going to be really dumb.
The Macy's one-day sale flu is what it was, I guess. The driver's license renewal appointment 24-hour virus. The Friday afternoon start the weekend early, sudden unbearable stomach pains. Oh, my tummy doesn't feel good. My husband or wife got the week off, so suddenly I apparently caught whatever she has, so I can't go into the office disease. I need a haircut, and my stylist doesn't make evening appointments bout of influenza. There's no federal holiday for 2 months, and I need a day off anyway sickness. It's spring break, and I want to pretend like I'm a teenager again ailment. Those tend to last a couple of days, by the way.
About a
Those
week.
do. Yeah. I've screwed up royally, and I don't want to come face to face with you, so I'm ill.
Wait till this blows over.
Maybe for a month or two. This could actually last the rest of my life. I'm really sick, and I've got the doctor's bills and completed medical expense reimbursement forms to prove it. So that's when you're really, really, really sick and you're bringing all that stuff in. Mm-hmm. Those are very rare. And my personal favorite, I'm looking for a new job. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I want to stay on the payroll until this mysterious infection ends, or until this ends mysterious infection. There we go. What do you think? Was that a good list?
No.
We should have skipped that.
We probably could have skipped that. Yeah.
There's at least one person right now saying, hey, that was okay. I rate it maybe a scale of 1 to 10. It's a strong 6.
I don't think so. I don't think there's anyone saying that.
You don't think there's anyone listening, period. This is the bonus break. This isn't even on the radio. There are people right now that are listening to this podcast going, why do I listen to this podcast all the way to the end? I mean, the bonus break really kind of sucks lately. I've tried to give Heidi the opportunity to share something in the bonus break, but when I do that, I always regret it. All right, I do have this here. International Airport in Bangkok had to issue an apology after a snake was found on the luggage cart.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they had, for whatever reason, a snake that was slithering around at the airport. That's kind of weird.
That is a little scary.
All right. Hey, the average person will go bowling 233 times in their life. Is that true or is that not true?
I
Average person,
have no idea. I would say
233
not
times.
true.
No, it is true. That is absolutely true.
I know I haven't been bowling that many times. Of course, I'm not dead yet, but
No, you got some time. And I've been bowling, I don't know, it seemed like that many times last year. I was in a bowling league last year. It's funny, I actually I signed up to be a sub this week. And then when they called me, I realized I have not bowled at all this year. And I was like, I don't really want to pay my league fees because this is probably the only time I'm going to bowl. So I'm going to spend like $30 to bowl once. So I just went there and sat with the bowlers and I said, I'll pay the dues for the guy that's gone.
just use his average.
Just use his average. I'm going to just sit here and watch you guys drink beer and, eat pizza and stuff. So that was kind of fun. All right, that's going to do it for your bonus break. I've got other stuff on here, but I can tell Heidi's about to take a nap.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
She's getting
I'm going to
restless.
use one of those vacation excuse days.
Yes, she's got my husband's jokes aren't funny, so I really got to get rolling virus. So there you go. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Bonus break brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. DollarShaveClub.com/radio.